Put that in a thing.
Put this in a thing. All right, we're good. We're
What's
live.
up, everyone? Oh no, there we are. There we are.
Whoo, yo, it's been a doozy of a day up in
Doozy of a
here.
day.
Doozy of a day.
What's up, Instagram? Welcome. Welcome to our chaos.
Triple G Savages, what's up, man? How you doing? How you doing? All right, so we're gonna dive into nutrition for babies and kiddos today. Would you like to start, babe? Should we wait a little while? Let people jump on.
Just wait a minute. You hold him. I'll grab his toy, and then we'll just waiting for some peeps to jump on and join us. We got a toy over here.
He doesn't like toys.
Yes, he does.
He likes picking on me.
He likes cords. All the cords he can get.
All right.
Okay, what's up, everyone? All right. So we are talking nutrition on babies and kids. Let's just do a disclaimer real quick. We are not children experts. We are not pediatricians. We are not any of those things. This is why we don't work with children or anyone under the age of 18. However, we are raising a child of our own, and we have lots and lots of friends that choose to feed their children well. And oh boy, that's a bad choice. He's gonna be into everything.
See how he does.
So we can speak from that point of view. Now, what do we plan to do with our child? Let's just start there. Whole foods. That's the biggest thing. No sugar. That's the next biggest thing. That is what we are going to choose to do with our child or children because that's what we feel is right and the best. I feel like I've already had some kickback from people who don't think that that's the best choice, and I don't really care.
What kind of kickback have they given you?
Like, when are you guys going to feed your kids carbs? Are you afraid you're going to give them an eating disorder? Are you like all of those things that come at you when you choose to feed your kid healthy? So if I was giving him puffs and fruit and pasta and bread and potatoes, no one would probably throw a fit. But because I'm feeding whole foods, no fruit, none of the puff crap that's out there, people freak out. I put butter on his eggs, and I cook with oils, and we feed him a lot of meat. We don't feed him a lot of vegetables. I have introduced vegetables to him, and honestly, so far, it literally runs right through him. Like, to me, there is a very, very small point of even giving him a vegetable at this point because it literally runs through him whole. And our pediatrician is actually totally fine with us not feeding him a whole lot of vegetables or any fruit. And our pediatrician is not keto or low carb. But he's very supportive of the way that we choose to live our lives. He thinks that we're great parents, and he said, honestly, all the nutrients he's going to get right now is going to be coming from the meat. Also, my breast milk, but after we're done breastfeeding, he's like, most of the nutrients is going to be coming from the meat anyways, so vegetables is just an added bonus if you want to, but it's not actually necessary. So that being said, that is what our medical provider, who is not following our way of eating, also says. Another thing I love to hear is that dentists and pediatricians are really discouraging parents from giving their children juice. I feel like that's not always been the thing, but that's what I hear all the time now. Don't give them juice. Which obviously we're not going to give them juice. But I think the biggest thing is that every parent's going to do what they feel is right. Some parents are going to do super strict keto. Some parents are going to do no sugar. Some parents are going to do some sweet potatoes or some homemade sourdough or whatever. And I think the important thing is to like respecting other people's boundaries and respecting other people's choices for their families. As long as their child is not malnourished or in any harm, I don't think that there's a problem there.
And he's like topping the chart on all the growth chart spectrums.
Yeah.
He's picking up skills super quickly.
He is definitely a meat-based child.
Yeah.
And he's super healthy. He's great. He's thriving. And so until the day that he just appears that he just can't make it, I'm not going to worry about it. You also just, you know your child, you know your family, you know your ancestry, you know all of those things, and you make the best choice you can as a parent, and it's not anyone else's job to choose that for you.
I mean, think about it. You transition kids, if they're consuming breast milk, which is the ideal nutrition source, it is far better than formula-fed babies, if you're able to do breast milk. And so, like, a lot of people would start with that. Then they'll transition from that to all of the, baby foods out there, the purees. And, like, those purees, they're not meat purees. Like, they're fruit and vegetable purees. So you're going from...
There's a bunch of sugar added, and there's a bunch of vegetable oils added.
Yeah, so you're going from a very highly nutrient-dense, quality, high fats, source of nutrition in the breast milk, then transitioning to that, or from that to a pureed carrot thing. I mean, like, you're having a significant drop in nutrient density with that. So by not doing that and sticking to a species-appropriate, ancestrally consistent, meat-based diet, Rigel is going to be far ahead of, if he was to be eating all the processed junk that is typically found on baby food shelves.
Let's also talk about, since we're here talking about babies, let's talk about breast milk and formula. That's a very, very touchy subject, and I choose not to judge anyone who does whatever they choose to do. We chose to breastfeed. I do think it is far superior.
I think Rigel chose the best breastfeed.
I think it is far superior. Our bodies are made to produce exactly what our child needs. So if Rigel needs more protein, he's going to get more protein through my breast milk. If he needs more fat, my body's going to produce more fat. It's just the way our bodies work. However, if you can't breastfeed, or if I was unable to breastfeed, I would choose to find someone who I could get a donor milk from. So like even here locally, we have a lactation company, and they reach out all the time asking moms that pump for their extra milk for whatever reason another mom can't breastfeed. So that would be my second choice, is donor milk. And then my third choice would be either start to feed them regular food, or if it's way too early for that, then doing a formula made in Europe, a European formula, not a US made formula with a bunch of added junk. Just look at the ingredients. That's going to be the most important. A lot of what's in those formulas are a bunch of added sugars, corn syrup. There is a bunch of vegetable oils and things like that. There are really good options. You just kind of have to figure out where you want to spend your money, where you want to spend your time. And for us, nutrition is like top of the line, because that really sets you up for success or failure throughout your entire life. So not saying that any choice is a bad choice, but there are options, and there's like different levels that you can kind of choose from. So that's what we would do with formula or breast milk or whatever. All right, let's get to some questions. Hello from Phoenix.
What's up? Cookies and keto bricks are the perfect diet. Cookies and keto bricks.
Give the kid a Bell's brownie brick. That's
Rigel
right.
is a savage. Rigel is a savage. He's a freaking go-getter. He's a hustler. He's crushing it right now in life.
Hey, savages. Your choices and you guys parenting in a great way. Thank you.
What you doing down there? What you doing down there?
That's all we got so far. Cool. Great. That's not cool. What do you guys have for us?
And honestly, like, as he grows, and this is true across the board for all kids, like, it's not like he is going to all of a sudden randomly need a bunch of carbohydrates. Like, there are multiple use case scenarios in which people growing, like adolescence could very much so tolerate more carbohydrates than certainly an overweight, insulin-resistant adult could. But that doesn't mean that they have to have those carbohydrates. Not having a significant degree of carbohydrates in his adolescence is not going to result in any, hindrance to his growth and development.
Also, if you look at a baby, they actually cannot tolerate grains well until at least they're 12 months old. So people who are giving their baby these grains, and it's actually really hard on their stomach, and then they wonder why their kid is gassy or having constipation or whatever, having all of these issues. But the stomach is actually, it's a really hard thing to break down those grains, and sometimes vegetables can be the same way. How do you get an 11-month-old to eat more meat?
Give them tasty meat.
Well, you could. I don't know about chicken nuggets, but there's like the chicken nuggets that you can make. You just shred up some ground chicken, put some egg in there, and some cheese. We have a recipe on ketosavage.com. Blend it all up together and then put them into little patties and then cook it. You can also do like a chili, like a non-spicy chili. We also have a chili recipe on ketosavage.com. You could do maybe like a casserole type thing, like with ground beef in it, and just make it fun. Make it like different textures. And then also we have done a chaffle with not cheese, but with meat. So you blend the raw meat with the raw egg. You put it in a blender. So it kind of makes like a paste. Throw it on the...
It looks gross.
It looks really gross. But you put it on the waffle maker, fry that thing up, and then you can put cheese on it, or you can eat it as it is, or put some seasonings on it, or put some butter or cream cheese or something like that on top of it, and it's really good, honestly. You can make sandwiches out of it, all that, but that's kind of a tricky way of getting it into. I'm 5 weeks postpartum. I have done clean keto prior to pregnancy. I am wanting to switch from a standard American diet back to keto, but I'm afraid of dip in supply. Any advice? If I know this isn't medical advice, LOL. Okay, so I don't know if have you transitioned someone?
Yeah, so oftentimes I've had several female clients that have stayed keto throughout their pregnancy and while breastfeeding, and then I've had a few that have gone from standard American diet to keto.
We both have worked with several people that have made the transition.
And I've seen them experience a slight dip in supply, but the quality of the supply is improved. I've seen some experience an increase in supply. I think a lot of it is just when you do transition, make sure you do not drop your calories by default. So if you are eating a standard American diet and including carbohydrates, a lot of times people experience more satiety when they transition to keto, and they inherently eat less food. And if you're eating less food, that would result in a drop in supply. So make sure that you don't do that, and you shouldn't experience any adverse effects in that regard.
And also, I have not actually had a client have a dip in supply from switching to keto. But I will say protein is extremely important. So during that transition, keep your protein high, or as high as it's been. And then you can really do a slow transition of lowering the carbs, increasing the fats. It's going to be okay for that short period of time, you slowly transitioning both. And I honestly feel like that's the best way. Otherwise, you're going to really shock your body. And that's kind of what causes, what, buddy? That's what causes a lot of people losing their supply and things like that. They're not eating enough, and then they try to do a transition really quickly. But it's okay to take a couple of weeks to really get things switched over.
All right, let me dive into this YouTube question here. So, love and appreciate all the info you guys share. Thank you, Rana. Would you incorporate higher allergy foods still, like gluten and peanuts, still through, although not ideal nutrient-dense foods?
Yes, so we have introduced peanuts. We won't do gluten. Also because I just don't think gluten is really optimal for any human being. So if they want to have gluten later, that's fine, and they can see how their body responds later on in life. But we have done a lot of the allergens like peanuts. We've done some vegetables. We have done shellfish, all that. So all the allergens we're going to be doing except for the gluten. And honestly, in a lot of the processed stuff, you're going to get some gluten in there, likely. And that's probably when you're going to find out. But I don't anticipate having a lot of gluten in his life, so we're not planning on doing that one.
Start your kids off on a good diet because it's extremely hard to change from a standard American diet later on.
100%. I've seen this way too many times where people are like, man, I wish I would have just started sooner. I wish I would have just switched the whole family when I started. And I totally agree.
The thing is, like, if you know better, do better kind of situation. And definitely it is harder, but like strive to do that. It's not going to be easy, but strive to make that shift. What I don't understand is people that know all the benefits that come from a well-formulated diet, and they hesitate to even incorporate that in their kids' nutrition because of the hassle it may provide. You know, like it's totally worth the effort. It's totally worth the, you know, quote unquote sacrifice that comes with it.
It sets them up for success. Like it totally sets them up for success in their life. Like I feel like so many people who are now like keto or adjusting their diet are like, man, I wish my parents wouldn't have like bought me all of this stuff, you know? And it's like, then don't do the same thing. You know what I mean? And then also I would say we've mentioned several times the book Deep Nutrition. She talks a lot about what happens during pregnancy and what you eat, and then also like when you're feeding your child, what you're feeding them. And I think that it's really important to listen to things like that. And I really love that book for that reason, because it really dives into the benefits for yourself, but also the generations and generations behind you.
We are having trouble putting weight on our 3-year-old. I'm ordering Keto Brick today. Hopefully that will help.
Yes,
Nice.
I cannot tell you the amount of children that love the Keto Brick. Like, if it wasn't, like, I wish it was more appropriate to post photos of other people's kids, because I get crazy amounts of, like, DMs or messages from my friends or siblings that their kids are eating the brick, and it's so cute. But they really seem to love them.
Living Real with Kent says, I think this is in reference to the milk supply question. Eat real food. Don't eat anything processed, and you should be fine. I'm 5 months postpartum too. How long does it take for a customer to receive bricks from the time they submit order? So we ship out the next day. So it depends on where you live, obviously, but you typically get them within a few days. Monday was President's Day, so the post office was not closed. So if you ordered during the launch on Sunday, we packaged all day on Monday, but we couldn't ship them until Tuesday. So you should definitely all receive your bricks within the next day or two, for sure.
Unless you are international.
Yeah. Thank you. We'll definitely check out your recipes. Thank you. I hear LMNT is really good for milk production. We want to make sure electrolytes in general. Yeah, you want to make sure those are dialed in.
Yeah, that's going to be super, especially when you're transitioning from standard American diet to keto. You want to make sure that you're getting in plenty of electrolytes. Electrolytes in general, but specifically transitioning as well. So Element, Redmond Relight, Mike Mutzel has one with what's his Myoscience. There's a lot of really great electrolyte blends out there. Just take a something.
And it says, hi, you three. So glad to catch you live again. We're glad to have you. Get your Keto Brick from Amazon. No, it's not on Amazon. It's on ketobrick.com. We do not do Amazon. What's your opinion on feeding baby lots of butternut and sweet potato? I don't think it's necessary. I don't think you need to.
You definitely can. Like, if that's a good choice for you and your family, and that's something that you want to incorporate or something that's in your diet, there's nothing wrong with it. But there's also not like crazy benefits that they couldn't get, something that they couldn't get from like meat or something like that, or eggs, or
Yeah, all that good stuff. Animal based for the win, in my personal opinion. All right, we got any other questions, y'all? We got a meeting this afternoon, so we may do a little bit shorter live. Last time we had a live, Crystal was sick, so
yes, I literally threw up like right as Robert was starting to live. I was like, oh my gosh, I hope you can't hear that.
Yeah, it was not good. But they're feeling well now. Obviously, Ryder's feeling good. I worry about variety for baby food.
Well, for babies, I wouldn't worry about variety.
Yeah, I mean, like it's good for them to have a, they're not going to really be concerned so much about what the variety is, but you want to make sure that, they're like what we're doing is we're introduce a new food each couple days, so that we can kind of verify that they don't have any sensitivities to it, like avocado, like peanut butter, like yogurt, stuff like that. But something like that would be totally safe for you to kind of like slowly tease in.
Yeah, and I think it is important to get a variety of different meats. So like we are giving him salmon, we have given him sardines, we've given him eggs, we've given him chicken, beef, lamb, bison, pork. Like you do want to switch up the types of meats that you're getting, make sure that they're as good of quality as you can afford. But I wouldn't worry about like them getting too bored with that until they start getting an opinion, which is going to be a little bit probably closer to 2 years, but probably a year and a half to 2 years is when they are going to start getting picky about textures and things like that. But when they're itty bitty, just get in as much good stuff as you possibly can because they do not care.
Suggestions for packing baby snacks on the go.
I have actually been spending a little bit of time today thinking about different things that we can pack for him because during the middle of the day, I'm oftentimes not home. So I will try to share some of those in the near future. But one thing I did do was I bought some reusable silicone pouches from Amazon or from wherever. And then you can fill it with a puree that you make yourself or yogurt or something like that. That makes it super easy. Depending on how little your baby is. Woo, you are so grumpy. Depending on how old your baby is and how many teeth they have, you can do like chopsticks or string cheese or even like carnivore snacks, things like that. Totally cool on the go, easy peasy. But for ones that don't have as much teeth, I would do those little refillable pouches that you can fill yourself.
Thanks for the heads up. I have been wanting to try your keto break for 6 to 10 months now. It's about time I ordered. Definitely check it out. Let me know if you like them for sure. I was skeptical of keto for a while, but lost 80 pounds in the last year and a half. That's awesome. Congratulations. Watch your new brick launch, and I'm in need of this. Yeah, we're almost sold out of the Bell's Brownie brick. You may be sold out right now, actually. It's not. I have campers sleeping. All right, let's see here. Crystal, where do you get your head wraps? I love the wider ones.
Okay, what's so funny is I get them from Whole Foods.
Whole Foods.
That's where I've gotten the last several, and I don't know. I got them a couple of years ago, so I don't actually know where I would get them now.
High fat or high protein for babies?
I wouldn't even focus on it.
Yeah, I mean, you don't really need to focus on it, like if you're breastfeeding especially, but they're just growing.
Yeah, like I cook all of his meat in some sort of oil, and if it's too dry or something like that, I'll add butter on top. I'll feed him just yogurt, but I get like a whole milk yogurt. I'm not afraid of the fat at all because babies actually need good, healthy fats to help their brains develop. Like they need a lot more fat in the first couple of years of life than they ever will. So don't be afraid of the fat, but they definitely need plenty of proteins. Rigel loves eggs, and egg yolk is one of the best things that you can feed them.
Yeah. Wowza, the brownies are a hit. Yeah, they definitely, that's my probably new favorite flavor. Faux show. All right, y'all. I think that's all she wrote. So we're going to call it a wrap on the Live at 5. What are we talking about next week?
I sent you a list of things that people suggested. Someone suggested something like building a business. Would people be interested in that topic?
We could talk about that. I haven't got it all figured out yet, though. So, but I can tell you what I do know and what I don't know, where I've messed up. But yeah, definitely let us know what kind of questions you want for next week, and that will be the topic of next week. So the next question that gets submitted, that will be next week's topic. So whoever submits the next question, jump on your keypads, write the next question for next week because we need a topic.
Also, for any of those moms that are having questions still, like this is literally like I can't get enough of talking about babies and food and all the things. So if you have questions and you're ever wanting to ask, you should just send me a DM because I am more than happy to help out in any way that I possibly can.
Peter, what's up, man? How you doing? Favorite way to cook heart? That's the question for next week.
Oh, okay.
Favorite way to cook heart?
We just did it.
We did just do some hearts. We did? What did we cook?
Not gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell them next week.
All right. Drinking tap water. That's a good one too. Drinking tap water.
Oh, that is a good one.
All right, so we got heart cooking, tap water. That'll be next week's topic. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Much love to y'all. Appreciate all y'all for snagging a brick. If you got one of the Bell's Brownie Batter bricks this past weekend, we have so much love and support. We have so much love for all of y'all who support us so much. So thank y'all. And Crystal's listening. She's just over there breastfeeding, in case y'all were wondering.
Yeah, he's like a hot mess and just squirms around all the time. So I'm afraid he's gonna flash you guys with
So yeah, we are signing out for the day. Appreciate y'all for tuning in, and we'll talk to you next time.